What's up, everybody? I'm Amber. This is Amber's Logic. Got a new video for you today. A boxing update from last night. This fight, before I even get into it, was a fight for boxing purists. It didn't have a lot of hype. It wasn't a lot of anything to it. I mean, it really wasn't anything being discussed. We just knew it was happening, and we knew it was the best 240-pounders in the world. And that fight that I'm talking about is Victor Postol versus Terrence Bud Crawford. To be honest, I didn't do a prediction video for this fight, didn't have time, but I was concerned because of Postol's length, his jab, his work rate, and how smart he is in there in the ring. What I did do also is underestimate Terrence Crawford's true ability, and that Terrence Crawford is more than a good boxer to switch a southpaw or orthodox. He's a thinker out there. And what I mean by that is this, so this fight started, and first off I like to say, in the first round, even though it was a feel-out process, Victor Postol just looked really tense. Like he was just too hyper charged or nervous. I don't know what it was, but he looked very tense for those first few rounds. He just didn't want to let his hands go, but it wasn't smooth. It was he just seemed very tense. I don't know what it was, if he didn't warm up properly, if he realized that he was in the moment or what, but he just looked very tense. And those first, I'd say, round 1 through 3, I felt like Postol was kind of walking down Crawford, trying to cut off the ring. He was trying to, he wasn't using the jab per se, but kind of like a range finder. He was using it kind of as a range finder. It kind of kept that in his face palm, and it was more of a chess match going in there. And per the coach, per Freddie Roach, they wanted him to go to southpaw, and maybe that was a bad idea, because he went to southpaw immediately in the fight. Maybe a minute or so into the first round, he went to the southpaw. And then he was just kind of feeling him out. He got hit with a couple shots. He got hit with a counter right, which they thought they were going to land all night. And that was, I think, at the end of the second or third round. He got hit with a counter right at the end of the round. It wasn't clean, but it looked like, okay, this is what he was looking for when he was going southpaw, as a counter right. But then, the fourth round or so, you could see Bud starting to, you could see the data was processing, and he was starting to understand the thing, slowing down, everything was slowing down. He was starting to pick his shots. He was starting to counter Victor Postol. And you could see it starting to figure it out. Everything started to make sense. It was slowing down. His defense got even better. He's starting to time Postol a little bit. This is about round 4. You could see a little bit of a momentum shift where you could see Bud figuring out, starting to use his jab. He started going to the body and then going to the head. He started mixing up. He started mixing up his attack a little bit because he could see what Postol was doing. And then in the 5th round, he dropped Postol twice. I underestimate Bud's power. Bud got some power. Bud had some power. He dropped him twice. And I know that Postol don't have no weak chin like that. I know he doesn't. And Crawford dropped him twice in that 5th round. And after that, Crawford whitewashed this dude, just washed him. I mean, he completely dominated rounds 5 through 11. What I will say, though, is that, and he was countering him with, he was also countering Postol with some nasty body shots and hooks to the head. He was definitely catching that head. Oh my God, he was rocking Postol. He had Postol looking like he was Millie rocking across the ring a few times. Bud might have more power than a lot of us think he does, seriously. He was knocking him across the ring for a few rounds. And then in round 12, Postol, I don't know, put on his big boy pants and tried to come out there and do his thing. If he'd have been more aggressive like that at the beginning of the fight, it could have possibly been different. But obviously, when you have to let your hands go and have to go all out, you're gonna approach the fight much differently. So 12th round, Postol definitely went out there and he fought hard and he tried to get it in. But on a side note, I don't know if people were noticing during the fight, Postol was dirty as hell in those clinches. Kept hitting Crawford in the back of the head till he finally got that point deduction. That was well deserved. Postol got frustrated and started doing dirty stuff. I saw little elbows, little slick shit he didn't think that he was doing to try to change momentum because he was getting his head bust open like that. And he did get his head bust. Whatever invincibility Postol thought he had is done. He won't be the same fighter after losing like that in such a dominant fashion. You heard it here first. Postol will be okay, but he will never be that dominant fighter again. He was clearly beaten and outclassed in a fight that I thought was more even, just because of his length, his style. I thought this would be a better fight, but man, Crawford might be the damn truth. Seriously. Bud Crawford is not just a person. Okay, this is the difference. This is why Bud Crawford is good. I'm going to keep it simple for you guys right here. Bud Crawford can analyze. So if plan A doesn't work, he can go to plan B or even plan C if need be to adjust in a fight. Somebody like Postol, he had one game plan, and once that game plan was broken, he was done. He was done. He had no alternative. He didn't have any other moves. That was it. He had that one move and that's it. He had the crossover but no jumper. Like he was done. And to beat Bud Crawford, now that I've seen just from what I saw against Postol, you're going to have to be able to have more than one move. And what I'm saying is if this game plan didn't work for Southpaw, you need to be able to figure something out there in the ring. I'm not saying he's Mayweather, but the way he thinks in there reminds me of Mayweather. How Mayweather makes adjustments in the ring is very similar to Bud Crawford. Like I said, I'm not saying that Crawford's Mayweather. I'm just saying his style as far as thinking it out in there and making adjustments is very Mayweather-esque. And to beat somebody like Bud Crawford, you're going to have to be able to think out there. And if he does fight Pacquiao like they're talking about, it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Because Pacquiao be in there with a thinker that can adjust and make different moves. And I don't think Pacquiao really makes adjustments. I think his awkward style makes you try to adjust to him. And if you do force him to adjust to you, you get what happened with Mayweather. And I'm not saying the same thing would happen with Crawford, but I feel like Crawford has a legit chance to beat Pacquiao if Pacquiao is really going to fight Crawford. I really would want to see that fight. I think that could do great numbers on a pay-per-view. Like, that would be dope to see Crawford versus Pacquiao, the undefeated young bull, and then going against the legend. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a good way to elevate. If they want to elevate Crawford as the next pay-per-view dude and let Pac-Man bow gracefully and do his senator duties, this has to happen, because this will elevate Crawford to a pay-per-view attraction. If he can beat Pacquiao, he'll immediately be a pay-per-view attraction. And to be honest, HBO needs this. They need Crawford to step up because they don't have a lot over there. So they need this to happen. And Crawford needs to win, and not only win, but win maybe by knockout. That will change the landscape in boxing. And then he has so many fights at 147 that it's ridiculous. It would be very interesting. 147 over the next 2 or 3 years is going to be very interesting. That I assure you. This was a great fight, especially if you're a person that appreciates boxing as a boxing purist, not just some knucklehead that wants to see somebody just get their head knocked off with no skill or ability, or just people just get knocked out. This probably wasn't for you. But for the boxing purist, this was a great technical display of showmanship and expertise by Terrence Bud Crawford. I'm Amra. This is Amra's Logic. This is my recap of Terrence Bud Crawford versus Victor Iceman Postol for the 140-pound lightweight title. Go.